Hello and welcome to the channel, and welcome today to Helldivers Masters of the Galaxy. This is a PS4 exclusive. It's a sort of twin-stick shooter, and I know at one point it was sort of free if you're a PlayStation Plus member, but I didn't have a PlayStation back then. So I picked it up recently because I always wanted to check it out, because it kind of gave me a bit of a 40k kind of vibe in some places, just because of like some of the vehicles and stuff that you can get. But I've been having quite a lot of fun with it. What you're watching, or what you're going to be watching, was some pre-recorded gameplay that I recorded when I first got the game. So I've played quite a lot of it since then, but this was the best way I could do at the time. So at the minute you're going to start to see, like, I'm just looking through what you can do with character customization. So you have a general character, you can pick male or female, and then you can also pick different variations of helmet, chest, cloak, to make yourself look just that little bit different. And as you level up and complete certain missions, you'll start to unlock different variations and things like that. So like Defender that you were just looking at is something that I unlocked quite early on in the game. So during this little part of the video, it'll mostly be looking around like your sort of ship and the galaxy and things like that, and then I'll show you some actual sort of gameplay. So here you're going to be looking at the guns, the sort of upgrades that you can get on the guns. So as you level up, you pick up certain samples in the mission, which I'll show you shortly. You will gain research points, which you can use to buy upgrades for your weapons or for your strategic drops. You will have to excuse me, by the way. My throat is incredibly screwed, so I am sorry if I sound horrible, but as I say, this is the best I could do. So apologies, but that's what we've got. So this game's just it's been really fun, but it's also incredibly hard. I don't play on a particularly hard difficulty. I mostly play on easy. So I'm going to quickly show you the galaxy map. So the galaxy map itself is basically, there's multiple worlds with multiple types of enemies on each one, and the community works together to push through their section of the galaxy until you eventually get to their planet. You then try and conquer their planet, and that removes them as a threat on, as it were, on the board for a certain amount of time at least, and then eventually they'll start to push back. They'll appear again and they start to push back. So in each one of these there's like a different sort of, you have lots of combat sort of planets, stuff that you need to conquer in each section to complete that section. And the whole community works together towards earning like points towards the end goal, so you can see like a community influence bar. Once that fills up, you capture that area, etc, etc. So that's kind of how it works, and for completing every mission you'll get certain unlocks because you've completed this mission and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, like the harder difficulties you do and all that, and how well you do in the mission gives you more community points. So yeah. But so far I've been having an absolute blast with the game. One of the main reasons I've been finding it difficult, though, is because of friendly fire, because you cannot turn friendly fire off in this game. Now, I've left a very, very small clip in this little part that demonstrates how cruel some of the people in this game can be. Now, I found this quite funny, but at the time I also remember being like, you fucking bastard. Because this is where I wanted to actually like start recording and actually show you guys everything. So you can kind of see here, I'm looking through the general build that you go into to sort of drop into. So I've kind of got like a personal protector drone. You can also have things like airstrikes. I've also got a bike as well. You can have a little, someone can jump in the sidecar and use a turret on it. You can also get tanks and walkers and all that kind of stuff, and you can drop turrets that go down the floor. So the sort of like, there's two main components to the actual combat in the game. You've got the sort of twin-stick shooter aspect, which is obviously, like, you can see there I'm looking through the guns, so you've got like machine guns, shotguns, plasma rifles, all this kind of stuff. And then you also have stratagems, which are literally, you will crouch on the floor with a walkie-talkie and you call in for support, so you have to put in like a little button command and you're calling support. Here's the cruel player, look, I spawned in and he ran me over in a tank. Now, to get me to respawn, they would have to use one of those stratagems to actually throw it on the floor and call me back. These guys chose not to do that, so I knew there was no point in me staying. So I got the hell out of there and I quit. And then I went and found a different team. Okay, so after I left the game, I went and joined a bit of a better team. So I could do a few more missions in that. But anyway, we're talking about stratagems. So a lot of the stratagems and a lot of the way you do your objectives are when you get to a place, you will put in an input command, which mostly involves like directional buttons. So you can see here someone's using a walker, which is a stratagem. Someone's also got like a defensive turret, and there obviously I'm doing a bit of shooting. So as soon as we get to this point here, we're going to be starting to input commands here. Well, this part was a bit of a capture and hold on while I tried to get back up because I kept walking in fire because I'm an idiot. But hopefully, I think we start using stratagems in a minute so I can actually show you these. But it's the sort of main component to the game is to call for support. You are a small team of people on a planet. You have to complete X amount of objectives on the planet and then extract. So you can use stratagems to either get yourself better gear, get yourself more ammo, redeploy teammates that have died, get yourself massive vehicles that you can all go around in. So here you go, I'll do an input command now to call for the shuttle. And then that begins this, and it's obviously the usual sort of capture and hold. And then I'm using a stratagem here to call for a turret, which in my haste I messed up, but there you go. So you call for a turret, you then throw out the beacon, and then it's going to start coming down. So you'll get a small incoming time, and then as soon as that appears, it's going to start to fire. But you have to remember, everything has friendly fire damage on. So if you're under that when it drops, doesn't matter who's there, they're getting crushed. If someone stands in front of the turret when it shoots at an enemy, they're dead as well. Everything is friendly fire. So you have to be very careful of that. I don't remember if this is the video or not. It might be that I decided to get that it would be a really good idea to call for my bike and ended up running someone over. It might be this footage, I don't know. But if it's in, we'll see it soon. So, Helldivers so far seems like a really damn good game. I've played it a lot more since these videos, so you will have to excuse I'm going to make some stupid mistakes, which is one of the reasons why I'm cringing watching it now, but there you go. The twin stick element of it is really nice. The sound's great, it feels punchy. As you start to get better, as you start to put more research points into your weapon, you start to reload faster, get less recoil. And you start to, obviously at the minute I'm still a bit of a noob, so I was using the laser sight on everything because my aim's crap. Plus, because your teammates can see that, I tend to find it was less often that they were running in front of me when I was shooting. I tried without the laser briefly after this, I think, and I'd just be there aiming, I'd shoot, and people would run in front. I've also been crushed by that ship several times from not paying attention where it was going to land and getting crushed by it, so that's another thing that can really badly ruin your day very, very quickly. I like seeing that lovely moment there where they all came together and then the turret just turns around and just guns them all down. Beautiful. Oh, but I don't know, I'm having... This game has been an absolute pleasure. If you want, like, mindless fun, it's a really good game. I would love to see them bring it to the PC. I really would. Because on the PS4, don't get me wrong, on the PS4 it's damn good. But I'd like to see it on more platforms. I do believe it's, if I understand this correctly, it's cross-platform but across all PlayStation platforms. So, I think this is on PS4, PS3 and the PS Vita, I think. And they can all cross-play together. So, we finished the mission anyway, and we're going to this mode. Someone picks the next mission, and then you can, once you're all ready, you can go and get any drop pods. So because we've all got in the drop pods, the mission just starts straight away. Then the host will pick where you drop. This part can be interesting, where some people will choose to drop you, and then you get a brief moment for everyone to pick their loadouts and all that kind of stuff. So, I do still have my bike in this video, so I think this is the match where I decided it would be a really good idea to call in the bike so we can all get round a bit quicker. No one wants to get in my bike, and I end up running someone over, because it turns out I'm a really bad driver, so yeah. We'll see that shortly, I'm sure. But anyway, the twin stick part's been really nice, the guns feel great, so you also have a lot of objectives where I can't remember if one of these is in this footage or not. Hopefully it is. But there's a moment where you have to, like, one of the objectives is, like, carry a briefcase from X point to Y point. So, of course, because one of you has to carry the briefcase, you can only wield a pistol. But it's surprisingly nice to, like... I was in one game, and my two allies got walker mechs. And I picked up the case, and they literally stood one in front of me, one behind, and I was just walking... like on foot, and I just had these two massive walkers with miniguns just either side of me, like anything come behind us, just rat-a-tat-tat, everything dead. It was just one of those things that it just looked and felt really cool, but it was like a natural sort of thing for us just immediately to do, like, right, we've got 2 walkers, I'll get in the middle, because it's the objective. You two got the guns, if you're not pointing them, there's no enemies going to spawn in the centre of us, they're only going to come from the side, so you can't point guns at me, therefore I can't get in the way either. The only thing I had to watch is I didn't get trud on, you know. So, you have to watch out for that. There, you see the reason why people they tried to steal my bike, they couldn't work it out, it ended up blowing up, and then this is how you resupply people. I have to quickly call for resupply, and then that actually brings them back. I think it also, yeah, you end up crushing some enemies as well, so sometimes you can use it for very, very nice things. But, anyway, getting sidetracked. So a lot of the objectives, there's things like that, and particularly if there's any sort of attack and defense, you do tend to find it's a good, like, nearly everyone just drops down like a turret or something like that. But yeah, the stratagems are a really nice thing because it requires a surprising amount of teamwork, because if you're the only person that needs to reload, your team will not want to stop because you get swarmed in this game. Like, we're only playing on like easy here or something, and we get swarmed quite often. So if you need to stop for ammo, you can become a massive hindrance, because if you've got a call for ammo but no one else wants it, they don't want to stop, so you tend to have to keep moving with people. So you have to have kind of clear signals for people, so a lot of the time you get to these objectives where you naturally have to stop, and you see that everyone just starts throwing down every stratagem they can physically throw down, just to get to get ammo, to call back for resupplies, anything. It's quite cool the way people do it. There's also another objective. Again, I honestly can't remember. I think it's in the next match that we get to see it. I think. There's another objective which I found this probably the most interesting objective because I hadn't seen that sort of like thing before. We had to use a stratagem to call in like metal detectors. You take the metal detector as like a support tool, so you can carry it along with your guns anyway, it doesn't cost you anything. And then you get given a designated area in the objective, and you've got to find bombs. So one of you is going across a minefield with a metal detector, just scanning it, while you're just constantly getting barraged by enemies. So the other guys have got to stand there and defend. And it was strangely awesome to watch this guy going around like tracking the bomb, then sitting there and like rewiring to defuse it. While you got like 2 of us just gunning down everything that come close towards them, and they've got to find a couple of bombs, then you move on to the next area. And I found that one really, really fun. It was none of this like just stand in place, capture and hold. Not, oh, get from A to B. It wasn't very. It's still a straightforward, pretty much defend objective. It's still the same sort of idea. It's just you've got one less man shooting. But it felt more interesting, and I found that with quite a few of the objectives. There's a lot of time where people just very much assert that like they're going to be defensive in this. Again, I mentioned another match. Sadly I didn't manage to record that, but when I had the one match where I had the 2 walkers with me, because I was on the ground, it was kind of obvious I was going to be the one that was doing all the objectives, like with the handwork, like activating everything with the directional pads and all that kind of stuff. And like people just immediately assert that's like clearly it's easier for me to do it than anyone else to do it. I like that element where people how to word this? The initiative of this game, it kind of pushes initiative into people like, right, this is your job now, and you kind of go, oh okay. Like there's no like, no, but I don't like doing that. There's none of that you get in other games. And here you can see us all dancing because we're having a jolly good time. I've just looked up and saw us all spinning, so there we go. I think I actually got an achievement for doing that as well. So there you go. There's a little thing for you. I'm pretty sure I did something like that to get an achievement about dancing. Can't remember. But yeah, I've been having just the best time with this game. It's been probably one of the most fun co-op games I've played recently, other than Diablo, because I've recently got back into Diablo in a major way. Was never the biggest Diablo 3 fan, because I played it when it came out. But that's a video for another time. I'm not going to start here talking about Diablo as much as I want to, because it's all I've been playing recently. But yeah, this was absolute brilliant fun, and I still drop onto it now. I played it When I first got it, I played it for days. Just days and days and days. Just wanted to play it and play it and play it and play it. Every chance I got was like, I'm going to go grab a quick game of Helldivers. So I'm going to go grab another quick game. Just kept doing this. Because as you can see, the missions aren't particularly long. Like in some cases, a mission can be finished in like 4 minutes. Maybe even less in some cases. And then there's other times it's like, oh, this game's going to take 10 minutes. Like, they're never really much longer than that. I haven't done any like the harder difficult stuff. I've mostly stayed to easy. Just because I was still ranking up. I'm still generally learning. So I didn't really want to just flat out go for it. Oh, God. Sorry, my throat's going. Ugh. Okay. So, it's been pretty fun. I'm enjoying it a hell of a lot. So it comes under high recommendation at the minute. I imagine it probably comes on sale quite a bit, because to my knowledge this game's been out for quite a while. But as I say, I didn't have a PS4 at the time, so I'm almost playing catch up. But I wanted to treat it in the sense of, this is a game that I picked up on the PS4. Take it as a recommendation from a new PS4 owner. It's a good game to check out. Because the matchmaking is brilliant on it. Well, I say matchmaking, it's more like a lobby-based system. You go and pick your own lobby kind of thing. I do believe I left some in the footage earlier, but I wasn't really paying attention. So you just go into a lobby, you pick your match, you join, you carry on. You just jump in. If it's in the middle of the match, you just drop in from a drop pod and no one knows. So it's drop in, drop out. But most of the time you get these sort of lobbies. Usually most games, everyone's pretty free. You do occasionally get the odd game where people obviously just want to cause trouble. Like, that's why I left the footage at the start. I joined the game right at the end and they weren't happy about it, so they ran me over in a tank. That's just the way some people are. But I don't know, there's something, a very compelling game that I've played so far. I've really enjoyed it. A lot of it is from the sound. The weapons and the sounds and things are like, yeah, this is the game I was just quickly watching. I do believe I take a walker now. Even like the steps as you're in a walker, or like the treads of a tank, anything like that. Like all the sound assets for it are really good. They're really heavy. They just feel really nice. Just everything's got this brilliant punch to it. Like even when you go at the drop pods, you may have heard it then if I've left it loud enough. You feel it punch, and it just feels really, really cool and heavy and weighty. You don't get that from many twin-stick shooters, particularly one like this. My understanding is this is a fairly small team that did this game, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a fairly small team. So here you go, this is right from the start of a mission. So you can see here, immediately everyone's just dropping all the assets that they've got. This is like the one time you're going to stand still. So, this was the first time I got to play in a walker. So hopefully now you can hear the footsteps and the lovely clunking of it. Now I made the mistake here, what I hadn't worked out at the start, that is the right trigger obviously controls the guns on the right arm. I say obviously, I still made the mistake at the time, but it actually ended up being quite helpful. So the right trigger obviously controls the right guns, the left trigger controls the left guns. I didn't know this, I just assumed that the whole thing would all fire at once. Like a complete noob. So you'll see below my name the two like barrels. Just the one slowly empties as I start to run out of guns, and there's one moment where oh yeah, here you go, here. Complete sidetrack for a second. This is the metal detecting sort of quest that I was talking about, where someone's quickly called in and is now going around scanning with the metal detector. So, I found these quite interesting. For some reason we're not getting attacked that much, usually you get quite a few more. Oh god, my throat's really going. I'm sorry, I am really sorry. We're not that far from the end now though anyway. So you're going to see that my one barrel starts to slowly empty, and then there's a brief moment I remember in this game where I was rapidly pressing the trigger and I'm like, chick, 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 and I'm like, shit, I've run out of bullets. And then it was that moment where it just dawned on me, like, you have just been a complete noob. Press the left trigger, the left arm just starts going rat-a-tat-tat. And you can almost see me being like, oh thank god, as I'm just gunning down everything. So this isn't one of the moments that I was talking about before where one of you kind of immediately takes on a defensive role. So because I'd got the big heavy walker, it was kind of up to me to guard while other people took care of like the objectives. You tend to find this is quite a good way of conserving ammo. It's one of these things that I really like doing. If you've got that one person who's in, or at least one or two people that are in these things, that you've got one person always conserving ammo, who can just chug away the enemies, so the people on the ground can just focus on the objectives. They don't really need to worry about this. As you can see, occasionally I do accidentally tread on people as well, so that's the other thing that I ended up having to watch. I was so concentrated on being like, I must defend these people, that I kept treading on them, so... We had a pretty nice team for this, because I'd got the walker, and then we'd got two people with guard dogs, so the little drones that follow you around. So that was pretty nice. We didn't really need to shoot all that much. It's weird seeing this now, because this was on, I believe, like a very easy difficulty. So the actual quantity of enemies is really low, and like recently I've been playing on like standard, sort of like easy mode, or like a normal mode. And the volume of enemies is vastly different between the different difficulties. But if you stay still, there seems to always be a lot more, because they just start homing in on you, whereas if you're moving you tend to be naturally avoiding quite a lot of them. So you do have to pay a lot of attention to the map, but to get the map up you have to press down the touchpad that's on the PS4 controller, and then your character will like visually like open up a map in front of him, and then it pops up on your screen, but it means you can't control your character while you're doing it, so you can't just be constantly sitting there with, like looking at the map. You have to be like, oh right, okay, so even when like when you're looking for the objective, like, oh, here's where you need to get to extract, you have to open the map. So again, you tend to find like one person will just, like, you'll see them quickly open the map, roughly scroll to where we've got to go, and then you just follow that person, because it's not worth all of you opening all your map and you'll go, oh right, okay, that's where we've got to go, and by the time you've all been swarmed, like, it can happen very quickly, so you have to be quite careful. But I found that pretty damn awesome. It's that moment of, like, as I was talking about with, like, just natural cooperation. Like, you immediately just... it's almost like you're forced into a situation where you have no choice but to trust the person who's with you. Which I found kind of awesome. It was this very natural feeling multiplayer. It wasn't very forced, like, you've got to work together now. Tough. And everyone's kind of like, oh, I don't really want to... Like, you can tell people just can't be bothered, whereas in this, like, people are very much like, I know what I'm doing, guys, follow me. And everyone's like, okay, let's roll. Because everyone just wants to get the mission done, because it's in everyone's best interest, whereas, so you don't... As I say, occasionally you get trolley players, that happens, but most of the time in this, people have been pretty supportive of, like, new players and things like that. So, yeah, I've been having an absolute blast with it. And those sentry turrets are the most evil things in the world, and I love them for it. Oh, right. So yeah, this has been a brief look at Helldivers. I say brief, it's gone on quite a while now actually, but this has been a quick look at Helldivers. It is available on most PlayStation platforms, I believe. There's two versions that I know you can buy. You can either buy the base game, or you can buy like the Ultimate Edition, which is what I bought, which gets you all of the DLC. I believe it's all like upcoming DLC as well. I think you just get all the DLC flat out, I believe. So it's pretty good value. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. If you get Helldivers, let me know. Maybe we can do some co-op on the PS4. I'm always looking for buddies to play with. So, thank you very much for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed this. And like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff if you did. Thank you very much, and hopefully I will see you soon. Bye bye.